Hello everybody and welcome back to my tutorial on NextBuild, which is Boreal ZX Basic compiler combined with a suite of library tools called NextLib. Last time we did sprites and simple movement, so we'll just compile what we did last time. So I'm going to press F5 on the keyboard. That should instruct VS Code to build code. This is where we got up to. So we've got QAOP to move our little fella around the screen. We drew him in a sprite editor, and then we added some animation frames. So this episode we're going to display a map. Now maps can be in various formats. The type of map we're going to use today is going to be 32 characters wide by 24 high, which is the normal ULA screen, but we're going to be printing to layer 2 at 256 by 192. The type of tiles we're going to use are going to be straightforward layer 2 bitmap data, so we can use the 256 colors of the palette. This is software driven tile, so there is also hardware tile map, which we'll cover in a later episode. So first we want to do is design a map. Now personally I use ProMotion. That's what I like to use. I'm familiar with it. It does what I need to do. What I've prepared here is a simple map, so we can see it's 32 characters by 24 high. I've gone and found some tile map online, whipped up a couple of bricks, drew a simple map. Then I've saved this out as a bitmap. So we saved that out as a bitmap. What I've done as well is create an assets folder, and what we'll do inside here, we'll keep source files for anything that we're going to use to generate game data. And so here's our map one that I've saved, and what we will use is a tool called Graphics to Next, which is a tool for snipping and chopping images into various formats, and it chops the bitmaps and the level data into the format that we want. And the command line arguments we want for this, and I'll add this in the text in the description, is we want to use graphics to next. We want to use a tile size of 8 by 8. We don't want to repeat. We want no rotation. We want to use a standard palette. We want to generate a preview image and then the source file that we're using. All you really need to know is what the source file is called. What you can do then is have a small batch file with that command in, and then we can run graphics to next. That will generate our game data that we need. We've now got 3 new files, well 4 actually, 5 even. We've got the map file, which if we have a look in a hex editor, we can see actually the layout of our level there and the corresponding tile that will draw that particular tile at that location. We've got our palette, which is 512 bytes in length, and we've got our tile data. So this is layer 2 data. Now let's bring these into our source file. Let's go back to our code here. So we're going to use load SD bank again. So load SD bank, and I'm going to take the map and the tile. I'm going to move this over into the data folder. Okay, so we want to load our tile data into, let's pick some banks. So again, we don't want any offsets. We just want to load it directly into the bank, so we're going to do it in 36, and then we'll do 38 for our next one because the tile data could be up to 16k. What was the other one called? This. Okay. Now we've loaded our map, our tile data in. We need a function or procedure that will draw that to the screen, and we'll create one called draw level, and we'll have a value that we'll pass to that, which will be the level number that we want to draw, 0 being the first level. Let's create a subroutine. So sub draw level, level as a byte, and sub let's think. So we want to first of all bring in our map. So let's bring in our map into MMU slot 0, which will be 0 to 1 FFF, and it was what was the number of our map? It's 38. So we'll bring in our map, bring in our map to 0, 0, 0. Excuse me. Now we're going to loop through these tiles, draw them on screen. So let's do we know this 768 tiles to draw. We need to get the tile, and let's peek that at address C, starting at 0, and then we want to draw tile bank 8, I believe it is, and then the X will be XY by tile by bank 36, I think it was. Then we want to control the X and Y, so X equals X plus 1 if X equals 32, which is the rightmost, and reset X and increase Y. Let's end it that. Okay. We can next this, and then we can also be good and clean up and make sure we put back the ROM. Place ROM. We can also do some layer 2 text that will say 10 by 0 level. We can print the level number plus 1. We don't want to put level 0, that doesn't make much sense. Remember what font is in 32, and we're going to use a mask of 0 so that it combines. Let's see if that does the trick. Let's do a compile. Okay, draw tile bank undeclared function. Is it because I've got the name of the draw tile bank 8. Draw tile bank. Oh, do tile bank. Oh goodness me, that's why it didn't work. So it's do tile bank. Let's compile that. See what we get. Okay, so she crashes. That's not good, is it? Let's have a look why that could be. Why could that be? Okay, looking at the source, it's using a float for the X and Y. So let's sort that out. We want to always define our variables. So X, Y, and tile can all be bytes. Let's check. Give that a run. Okay, there's our level. So it was because XY was being passed as floats, and it was obviously sending values to X and Y internally that were mapping into crazy numbers. So now we've got our level drawn. We can see it says level 1 at the top. What we could also do is a simple large level layout. And the way that we would do this is, so let's call it world map. And then we're going to do assembly blocks and SM. Okay, and the world layout will be 0 by 0 by 0 by 0. So it'll be 4 screens wide by 4 screens high. Currently we don't have any other worlds, but we'll do that in the next tutorial. And what we'll do is we'll have a start position in this world map, and when we move forward, we'll add ourselves forward or draw the appropriate map, and so on and so forth. And we'll also look at potentially doing some simple collision detection, because the next thing we need to add is some gravity, and we need to be able to touch these walls and move around properly. So we'll wrap it up for this one, and I'll see you with the next one.